Start the timer, Steve.
And we can confirm from telemetry on the ground that the Soyuz TMA-12M spacecraft has undocked from the International Space Station at 6:01 p.m. Central Time over Eastern Mongolia.
Utsos 19 first at 4:30. We will expect 15 seconds of inaudible. Copy. Sasha, could you please continue reporting? Because we don't receive the image, and we need your report. Okay, copy.
Expedition 40 now officially in the books. Expedition 41 officially has begun aboard the International Space Station.
And the headlight is on. 1 minute. That's good.
And telemetry on the ground and reports from the crew aboard the descent module of the Soyuz spacecraft indicate that the undocking was normal, no problems, and the Soyuz is currently separating from the station with a separation maneuver scheduled a little over a minute from now. That'll be a 15-second firing of the Soyuz engines.
Everything is nominal, Moscow.
This is Mission Control Houston. External cameras on the International Space Station zooming in. There's a, there it is. There's your Soyuz TMA-12M spacecraft with Steve Swanson, Oleg Artemyev, and Soyuz Commander Alexander Skvortsov on board, flying free of the International Space Station.
Good luck.
The undocking occurring about...
and our regards to the guys. Okay, I will do that, of course. Yeah, it will be the lucky times. We were doing our best so that you feel that you're lucky when we are gone. Moscow station on space to ground 2. Maxim is calling. Go ahead, Maxim. Could you please repeat, the information that you have for me?
Once again,
you can move
the remaining crew members on board the station
line on the third
talking
panel.
about some housekeeping issues on board the station with Russian flight controllers as we continue to watch the Soyuz spacecraft with the 3 departing Expedition 40 crew members on board. Undocking having occurred about 21 minutes ago over eastern Mongolia.
Right? Yes. Yeah, so it will be necessary for the with the vehicle. Okay, so
the International Space Station and the Soyuz, with the Soyuz opening up an ever-increasing distance between itself and the station, flying from northwest to southeast at an altitude of 260 miles above the Earth, well over the North Pacific, and just to the east of the Hawaiian Islands. We're about 2 hours and 7 minutes away from the deorbit burn, the engine firing for 4 minutes and 40 seconds. That will occur at 8:30 and 36 seconds p.m. Central Time to slow the Soyuz down by 128 meters per second and enable it to drop out of orbit for its descent back to the Earth's atmosphere.
Impacting space to ground 2 traffic. Correct? That's right. Space to ground 1 is not tied to space to ground 2. Okay, so then KVD MRM2 can be closed. That's my next activity on the timeline. Yes, you're go to close MRM2 pressurization valve. Copy, I'll put that in work. Thanks, Max. We'll stand by for your call that's complete.
Soaring over the tranquil Pacific Ocean, the Soyuz TMA-12M spacecraft continuing its separation from the International Space Station with its 3 crew members on board in the center section, the descent module. Soyuz Commander Alexander Skvortsov in the center seat, Oleg Artemyev, his board engineer, in the left seat, and NASA flight engineer Steve Swanson, who served as the Expedition 40 commander, in the right seat. Their sights set on a landing site in south-central Kazakhstan, about 90 miles to the southeast of the remote town of Zhezkazgan, where they are expected to touch down at 9:23 p.m. Central Time, which will be 8:23 a.m. on Thursday morning at the landing site, about an hour and a half after local sunrise.
Ici? Gaz. Non, 9, да? Да. Okay.
The sunlight glinting off the solar arrays of the Soyuz spacecraft, continuing to separate from the International Space Station at an ever-increasing rate. heading for a departure point some 12 kilometers away from the station for its deorbit burn that is expected 2 hours from now.
It's not important.
Okay.
Next speech. Here.
Я успею, да, Антон. Очень важно.
Really.
Meanwhile, now a 3-man crew occupies the International Space Station. European Space Agency flight engineer Alexander Gerst in the foreground. Behind him is the new station commander, Max Sarayev, NASA's Reid Wiseman also on board. The Expedition 41 crew up and running for the next 2 weeks as a 3-man crew before they are joined by NASA flight engineer Barry Wilmore, Soyuz commander Alexander Samokhutyaev, and Russian cosmonaut Elena Serova, who will launch on September 26th from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Serova to become only the 4th Russian woman to fly in space. Wiseman joining Gerst there in the Destiny Laboratory as they are going to participate in the daily planning conference, the evening conference that is always scheduled every day, that a crew is on board the station to recap the day's events and take a quick look at the activities that lie ahead. This 3-man crew will spend the entire day Thursday in downtime. In fact, most of the day they'll be asleep. They are expected not to participate in any activities. It strictly will be at their call as to when they wish to talk to flight controllers here on Earth.
So we'll need you to be hands off of SSCs 4, 7, 8, and 9.
Moscow Station, we're ready for our portion of the evening DPC. Great. Let's do it. Okay, the pressure on board is 748. As usual, all systems are nominal, no change in status. The timeline activities are still in work. So far, we have completed everything that was planned up until now. And I understand we already verified Form 14, correct? We did, so there's no need to do it again. Excellent. For the 9th, the radiograms that were received are Form 14 for the 12th, Form 14 for the 11th, 66, 16, Form 24 preliminary for 2 days out, and I think that's it. That's right. And did you do anything from the task list today?
His position is okay?
Yeah.
1 second.
Yes.
For task list, I don't think
I mean, it's okay?
today was the best day to do task list. Okay, I agree. But I still had to ask, and I just wanted to see if all of the window covers have been closed.
Time in this moment.
Yes, window number 9 is closed completely, and all the other ones are also closed. The ones that we had to close, that is. That's right, Max. Also, we still have a Stochnik experiment on the docket today. And then reconfiguring COM back to nominal configuration. Yes, I am aware of this. So I guess until inaudible 45. No questions for you, Moscow. I think I'm good with the plan and I know what to do. Excellent. So let's close out the evening DPC. Very good. And I'll be here to answer your calls. And also, Max, please power off input 2. I already did that. I already turned off input 2, but I actually wanted to power cycle it again with your go because I didn't really like the way it turned off the first time. So right now it shows that it's in powered off state. So then it started blinking. Then the image was sort of choppy. Then 15 or 20 minutes later, I went over there, and it showed that it's still powered, but the screen was black. But I know it's not like a computer. It can't go into power saving or sleep mode. So I am not sure what's going on. So with your go, I'd like to power cycle it again.
This is Mission Control Houston, continuing to watch the Soyuz TMA-12M spacecraft move away from the International Space Station following its on-time undocking that occurred about 35 minutes ago at 6:01 p.m. Central Time as the Soyuz and the International Space Station flew 260 miles over eastern Mongolia. The Soyuz that you see here growing smaller and smaller with each passing minute will move to a distance of about 12 kilometers away from this station for a 4-minute, 40-second engine firing, the deorbit burn, that is scheduled 1 hour, 54 minutes from now at 8:30 and 36 seconds p.m. Central Time to begin the ride back home for Steve Swanson, Alexander Skvortsov, and Oleg Artemyev.
We'll give you recommendations.
At about the time of the deorbit burn, the first in the series of Russian Mi-8 helicopters will begin to take flight from the airport in Zhezkazgan, where the landing operations are being staged this evening.
Yellow stripe.
It will be just after sunrise in Kazakhstan on Thursday morning when those helicopters are deployed in sequential fashion from Zhezkazgan for about a 40-minute flight to cover about 90 statute miles to the southeast to the expected landing site for the Soyuz spacecraft and its 3 occupants.
No. Okay. Okay. Don't worry.
Спасибо.
The International Space Station and the Soyuz will be moving into an orbital sunset about 12 minutes or so from now. This orbit of the Earth will carry both spacecraft over Chile and southern Argentina on this particular orbit of the Earth, and then out over the South Atlantic.
На этим планшетником.
Да нет, не планшет. Планшетник тут ни при чем вообще. Он спанул с этим, шлангом, по-моему. Или подвесной системой.
The Soyuz flight control team, the Russian Soyuz flight control team at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow. You're looking at a view of their control room from a balcony camera overlooking that room. They are in the process of updating all of their ballistic data that they'll be relaying up to the crew in the Soyuz spacecraft a short time from now.
Солнце прямо в СК. Прямо мне в лицо. Ну все, можно отдохнуть.